Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another 1 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strangebread Jim, and today we are going to be finally getting back into some more Pega studying. We have some more videos to make public, and then of course we got Final Fantasy VII later on today. Now, um, been out for past couple days. If those of you that don't really know, or if you've been kind of uh, trying to stay up to date on what's been kind of going on with my streams. Been out because I had a cold, so I couldn't really focus too much on. Wanted to kind of focus on making sure that I handled that without any problems, keeping myself warm and bundled and all that. Um, so um, then I tried coming back on Sunday. I could feel that my energy was being run down, and then I got a hate raid in the middle of it, um, which uh, I was already kind of dealing with, the fact that I was trying to recover from a cold. Um, so just having to deal with um, those individuals that did the raid um, really didn't help matters all that much. And I took the next day trying to, you know, reach out to YouTube, reported everybody that participated in the raid, and I wanted to see if there was some way that, I might be able to try to figure out how to, um, you know, uh, it it boggles my mind personally when someone wants to get into a hate raid. Um, they I, they apparently, I guess, are the most that I can think of is that they're looking for some kind of reaction that they will find some form of um, that will make them happy in some way. Okay. Um, you know, um, maybe they're in the cycle of being bullied when they were younger, so now they feel like they need to bully as well. Um, which I was bullied when I was a kid. What they're doing is just pathetic. Nowhere near the uh, what I got back in the day. And to be honest, um, I laugh at what they're trying to do. To be honest, um, so I mean they can keep on trying to do these hate raids if they really want to. I'm just gonna continue reporting them and letting YouTube know that, hey, I'm getting another hate raid. So, maybe focus on my channel a little bit more. Help me try to stamp these individuals out a little bit. Try to figure out where they're actually coming from. And let's work on trying to, let's, if necessary, let's put together like a task force or something like that. Let's try to end this, because um, I know some people can get, some people might not have had that level of bullying when they grew up. So, um, they might have a hard time with the with that. So, And some of them might be um, under a great deal of stress, or um, maybe they're in a really dark spot right at this moment in time. So obviously, hate raids can be um, really concerning, you know. Um, and it's quite unfortunate that um, these people somehow get some form of enjoyment out of it. Is it a bully mentality? Is it a sadistic mentality? Um, is it some form of um, they just get some form of enjoyment out of seeing people, be miserable or something like that? Um, I'm not sure. Um, but I mean, I can only do so much on my end. I only have, I'm a small streamer, small YouTube channel. So I mean, I there's only so much that I can do. You know, my voice is still, um, it feels like my voice is still small, too small to raise up, you know, you know, people to hear sometimes. So, um, but they're not going to make me stop. I've been doing this for a long time now. They, what they're doing is just pathetic. So, um, you know, like I mentioned to them the other day, they need to find better hobbies, you know, because, or, be a little bit more productive because what they're doing is sad, just pure and simple. And I was telling it to their faces on that. So, um, so yeah, I was dealing with that yesterday, and I was still very tired from trying to recover, so I took yesterday off as well. So, sorry for those of you that were wanting to have the Terraria gameplay, um, but I still needed to make sure that my health was fully recovered, and it, you know, feels like I'm pretty much back on top again. Maybe a little bit here and there, so maybe like 95% probably. Um, Not fully recovered, but I mean, still better than where I was a couple days ago at least. Um, so yeah, that's a little update as to what's been kind of going on lately. But for those of you that are just here for the Pega videos, apologies. I just wanted to kind of give that a little update for what's been kind of going on with the channel lately. So let's get into what these Pega videos are all about, who am I, and what you should kind of expect on it. It's been a couple days since my last video, so I'm not 100% sure where I left off, but I'm currently an unemployed software developer whose last job was working with the Pega environment. I was hired by a company. We were given an authorized training partner from that, you know, got, supposedly a lot of material from Pega on how to train the next Pega developers. And well, uh, pretty much everybody on the team that was being trained was having a hard time with this gentleman. It was like around 20 people or so on in the training squad, in the training group, and good majority, if not all of us, had gone self-study. So we were not happy with with what was kind of being given us. So, um, we tried to address that to our employer. Um, Even the guy's coworkers saw that, he was messing up. Some of us asked to be placed back into another training cycle with another um, Pega trainer, but they didn't do that. Um, the one and only time that I did take the certification exam, it was forced on me. They said either, take it now or we're going to have to let you go. Obviously, I didn't really want to, I didn't want to go back into the unemployment, even though here I am again. Um, so I took the certification. I failed the certification because I knew that I wasn't ready for it. I had not covered enough of I was already mid self-study on that point, working, looking through the Pega Academy to try to study up as much as I could for the Pega certification, but I was not ready for that first attempt, and well, I failed it. Um, Supposedly, I missed like 6 additional questions from the minimum. But let's face it, I would not have been happy with getting the bare minimum on the certification. Okay. No one should expect to get the bare minimum on a certification. Um, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more out of the training, and hence the reason why I personally asked if I could be put back into a training cycle, as well as several others, and that was denied. Um, so yeah, it was not um, it was not exactly the perfect scenario. Um, our little training cycle. I was pushed into a contract without a certification. So I was kind of hoping maybe I'd get, some decent mentorship, but that never happened either. Um, I asked if I could get someone to kind of be with me while I studied the rest of Pega Academy and help me answer my questions, but they said no. We'll answer questions, but that's about it. So, um, yeah, you know, uh, I've been kind of stressing the fact that, you know, uh, if you're watching this right now and you are a manager, you are a lead, you are a veteran of Pega, uh, make sure that you work with new hires. Okay, you know, if especially if you can most likely check out the resume. That should probably be not employee knowledge. Um, so you can probably ask them, when they got their certification, and if they had just gotten it, then most likely they won't know every single last little detail about Pega. So ask if they might want a mentorship. Ask if they want someone to kind of be by their side while they work on um, tasks. Be that team player. You know, because they're gonna appreciate it if they want it, if they need it. You know, be there for them. You know, um, I've helped out. You know, I've helped out people in my past that needed the help for programming. Um, you know, I remember a couple friends from college. They weren't in the computer science field. They were in the engineering field, but they still needed help on learning how to code, learning, the ins and outs of it. So I was there to help them out, when they asked for it. So, and I gave them a helping hand, and that's how a mentor should be, you know. So be a mentor, you know. Help others out, help new hires out, and stuff like that. So, but just so you're aware, if you're watching this, I'm not an authorized training partner, and this is not meant to be an instructor-led training. Okay, I'm not a Pega professional. Okay. I'm going through the Pega Academy to get my certification, much like anybody else. Okay. So, if you want to take the instructor-led training, then I would recommend that you go ahead and do so. Um, Most likely, and the instructor will be from, Pega Academy directly. But beware. It's like the 2 week course, so not a lot of time. They're gonna pack everything into those 2 weeks. Okay. You know, they say that you can get these certifications done in like 2-3 days or so, but let's face it, um, that is not um, you know I've shown that the amount of time that it takes to kind of get through a a topic, a challenge, and stuff like that does not match with their recommended time. Let's see. Let me switch it over to 23 here. Yeah, they say the 3 missions, 18 modules, and 16 challenges is 1 day, 20 hours, and 35 minutes, according to them. But no, I'm sorry. It's no. Um, there's a lot more in these missions and challenges and so on and so forth than what's going on there. Um, so you're gonna need to make sure that you have enough time to really go through, study, learn, and really, fully understand what is going on with that subject, right? So, now concerning the business architect, that's already been done. Okay, if you're looking for the business architect certification, I've already covered the 2 modules, or the 2 missions and 2 modules here. So I would recommend that you go back through those videos and cover those 2 missions and 2 modules if you're covering the business architect yourself. Um, we're done. I'm probably not going to be touching it myself. Now, I would recommend if you are trying for the business architect certification, I would recommend going through the Pega Express delivery. Make sure that you are studied up on the Pega Express delivery enough to get through it because it is 12% of your overall grade on the certification. Okay, so make sure that you are very much well aware of what Pega Express delivery is all about. I don't feel these 2 modules covers it. So, um, supposedly we have 10 hours and 10 minutes remaining on our 8.7. So, I have not received any form of emails lately, which is kind of unfortunate because I still haven't gotten a reply on my UI form challenge issue. Um, the fact that I can't seem to upload files into their server so that it could translate everything properly. It's not it's not allowing me to, so or at least um, according to when I was doing the video, it was showing that 0 files were processed in the upload, which is different from the video that they show, the walkthrough that they showed. So there's something wrong with that. So not quite sure exactly what's going on there, but you know, um, there's nothing I can do. So, so I'm hoping that they will get back to me on this because it is a major concern right at this moment in time. I can't complete this challenge. Now, I can go in here and I can come on down here and say, oh yeah, I've marked, this challenge is complete. I've completed it. But here's the thing: when confirming the work, it is not translating any of the values, so I can't confirm it. I can't say that I've successfully completed all the required tasks. I can't confirm it. This is something that I cannot do right at this moment in time, and there's nothing I can do at this point to change that. So, um, so I'm hoping that they will get back to me sometime in the future on that, but we'll see. Now, as you know, we move on. Obviously, I see that we left off on simulating an external data source. I don't remember. I don't think I've done any of this. No, I have not. So this is a brand new topic. Um, so obviously they say 3 tests, 10 minutes. Yeah, it's not gonna it's gonna take longer than 10 minutes, believe me. Um, you know, I timed it there, folks. I've timed it on one of their challenges before. It does not match up. So, um, but we'll go ahead and start up the instance now. We will be going through all the detailed tasks. There is this challenge walkthrough video. I will not use it, unless of course there's a problem with the detailed tasks. Okay, if there's a step here that they don't really address very well, or they kind of skip, like they do, it's supposed to be A, B, and C in steps, but they skip, they don't show you step B, they just show A and C, then there might be a problem. So then and only then would I ever really use the challenge walkthrough. But that's it. Um, uh, the uh, the only other time that I've really used the challenge walkthrough has been with exercises. On exercises, they expect that you've like retained everything that you learned from the previous challenges, and you'll be able to walk through everything that they instruct you to do with no problems whatsoever. And um, that doesn't always work out. Um, because some of the things that they ask you to do, they don't, in some cases, they never even instruct you on how to go about doing it. Um, so yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, there's a reason why I recommend trying to study as much as you can about or try to work with the instance as much as you can, learn as much as you can. So um, even if it's just kind of going back through previous work to set things up, like create yourself another case type or something along those lines, another case life cycle, whatever you need to do to make sure that everything is retained in your brain. So okay. So the scenario in this case is during roadside assistance, the service provider performs minor mechanical repairs, requests for roadside assistance, and must identify the vehicle so that the service provider can prepare for the service call. For example, certain vehicles might require a flatbed tow truck and a higher octane fuel blend. To allow service providers to prepare for a service call, stakeholders want to ensure that users enter only a valid combination of make, model, and year for a vehicle. As part of the initial application release, a listing of vehicle models is sourced from an external system. Before the external source is configured and tested, stakeholders want to simulate the process of providing the year, make, and model of a vehicle. Configure a simulated data source for vehicle model data to validate the identified vehicle view. A separate developer has configured the layout and behavior of the view, which is unfortunate because, why can't we do it? It's like, can we as devs do this ourselves? It'd be nice. It would kind of reinforce what we previously learned, but whatever. You create a simulated data source for the drop-down list of vehicle models to use until the external system with the data source is configured and tested. So for this exercise, 2 models of vehicles are sufficient to test a view. List of models is filtered based on the year and make. So, all right, so the instance is ready. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. Let that load. We'll go ahead and get the password going. We already have the author in there already, so there we go, and log in. So that's going to take a little while to get through. We have these various steps here, which looks like we are going to be creating some data pages to basically put records inside of. So, and then we can go ahead and reference said data later. So, okay, so we're staying in the App Studio. So we're going to click data to open the data objects and integrations landing page. So once it's done here, then we'll go ahead and do that. Hopefully you've been appreciating these videos. Let me know, um, where you're at on your studies. Are you working with um, an authorized training partner yourself? Are you trying to do self-study? Let me know. All right, so here we are going into the data to get to the data objects and integrations. So click the vehicle models data object to configure a simulated data source. So vehicle models. Click the data pages tab once it loads. Okay, so data pages. So as you can see, there's no data pages currently for this particular data object. Now, if there was an external, web, database that we could use, then obviously we would, connect to a system record with that. But because we don't have one yet, or, because one hasn't been provided to us, we need to create a simulated source. So click Create Simulated Sources to add a simulated data source to the data object. The rule generation status dialog box is displayed. In the rules generation status dialog box, click OK to acknowledge that a set of data pages with simulated sources is successfully created. The updated data pages with simulated data sources are listed. So here's the data pages and the vehicle models that we're going to need to do the created simulated sources for. So rule generation status, data pages with simulations created successfully. So click OK. And now, as you can see, we have both vehicle models and list vehicle models being undefined with a simulated information. So we've confirmed that. So everything is perfectly fine on that. So we're done with task number 1. Let's move on to task number 2 now. So in the vehicle models data object, click the records tab to add data records to the data object. So we're going to go to records. Click add record to add a row to the list of data records. So add record. So now we have vehicle type, model, make, and label being shown here as, what we should be getting from the database, from the official external database. But obviously, because it's a simulated, we're going to have to put in the information ourselves to kind of, state, hey, this is what we got, this is what we're going to be kind of dealing with. So, okay, so, in the empty row for vehicle type, enter truck. In the model field, enter Ridgeline. In the make field, enter Honda. Repeat steps 2 through 5 to add a second record to the data object using information in the table. Okay, well, here's a slight problem with this, is the fact that there's another field here, guys. Let me go ahead and send this back to them and say, hey, you guys might want to update your challenge again. 1 second while I address this. There we are. So just tried. So working on task 2, steps 2 through 5. But I noticed that you aren't addressing the fact that there is a label column. The image and directions aren't covering the column at all. I need to address this. Address / fix this. And I know that you can't fix the 8.7 version, but maybe you can fix the 8.8. before it gets too late. So yeah, apparently we can't do anything more there. Um, and apparently I don't really see anything that will. I mean, I click off the area there, but it's like, okay, that's an interesting label that they just put there. Um, actually, hmm, interesting. Um, Not sure what was going on there, but we'll go ahead and do another record because that's what they want us to do. Repeat, steps 2 through 5, and we are putting in passenger car. We have Accord for the model, and then Honda for the make. And there we go. Okay, so in the upper right, click Save to complete the configuration of the simulated data source. So that's all that we're going to be doing. We don't really need to do anything more. They don't want us to do anything more, so there you go. Now, could we have, you know, added something else in the label? Probably, maybe. I don't, again, I don't really know. Not quite sure. Clearly they're not wanting to show the information off very much. But obviously they are still using some arbitrary value in there um, to save whatever it is. So, um, but we saved it, so we're gonna move on out of there. So, in the header of the App Studio, click Preview to open the user portal. So we're gonna click on Preview, huh? Okay. In the landing pages menu on the left, click Create an Assistance Request to create a new case. Um, so here we are, Assistance Request. Advance the case to identify vehicle step, entering information in the required fields. Which is right there, by the way. You know, if you haven't, you know, if you haven't really been doing too much on this, you know, with the with previous challenges or something like that, then yeah. So, again, it would have been nice if we'd been given the ability to change the view ourselves. Um, you know, the we were allowed to do that through previous challenges. You would think that they would kind of continue with that, but again, they only want to include what's associated with this particular topic, and that's it. So in the top taskbar, click Design to enable the design mode. So On the Identify Vehicle form, hover over the vehicle information fields and then click Edit this section to configure the view to access the simulated data source. So, vehicle information, click Edit. Which will then open up this over here. So in the section properties pane on the right, to the right of the model field, click edit this dropdown to display the dropdown properties, which contains the configuration options for the source of the list that populates the control. So we're doing the model first. Okay. Okay, so here's the information presented to us. So um, So in the list source section, in the type drop-down list, and select data page to populate the drop-down by using one of the data pages you configured. Properties pane displays additional fields to configure access to the data page. So, wait, hold on. What? I don't see a list source. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was about to say, I'm like going, where again? Alright. In the data page field, enter or select the D vehicle models list to access a list of records from the simulated source. So, so yeah, we have quite a bit of values here. Probably one of the reasons, one of the good reasons of, being able to just kind of, paste in, you know, paste in the text sometimes, but, hey, you might need to, oh, actually, I selected the wrong one, which, I got the makes list and models list confused, so, which, I mean, makes sense because I'm supposed to be selecting for the model, not the makes there, Jim. What are you doing? Okay, so in the property for value field, enter or select dot model to use the model name as the value of the field in the form. The property for displayed text field automatically updates the reference the dot model property. So, okay, well, that's not correct. There we go. Select the group items checkbox to group the items list in the drop-down field. The properties pane updates to display the group by field. So group items. So here's the group by. Enter the vehicle. Enter or select the vehicle type to group the drop-down entities by vehicle type. So so we can just go ahead and select that there, and there you go. But I mean, obviously, I can always do the paste as well. Click apply to complete the configuration of the identified vehicle form. click design to exit the design mode. So we click apply. So everything that we just did gets applied to the current form. And then we click the design to exit out of that. And now we have our form that should be completely up and running. So now we just need to confirm the work. So in the make field, enter or select Honda. Which, I mean, I could say, hey, there's Subaru. Well, there's a slight problem there, you think, right? So obviously there needs to be a little bit more of a they need to have a little bit more of a clear understanding that if the make has no records of it whatsoever, it shouldn't be allowing for me to select a chord there. So it's like, I get it that this is a very simple design, and they're just kind of wanting to show off the fact that, hey, when you click on the passenger car and truck there, you can only select, well, you can select all three, these three here that they're highlighting. Obviously you can't select truck or passenger car or anything along those lines. But obviously, they need to do, you're going to need to do a little bit more to make sure that, if you click on Subaru and there's no records of a model in Subaru, then this drop-down should be empty. Okay. This should not be filled in by any kind of records for a make that has no models to it. Um, so, um, so what I should probably do is, damn it. Let's see. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of that real quick. Wait, did it not save? Oh, come on now. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Finally got it. I wasn't saving my my clip right at the moment, so I was like going, guys, what's going on here? Alright. So let's see. Let me make sure that I put in the challenge image. There we go. So might need to add a note about how the selecting a selecting a different make will show the available models even if the make shouldn't have any models. Obviously, that's done through um, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Through maybe an activity to make sure that the model list only reflects models associated with makes, but it is beyond the scope that you are working on. But a note might help anyway. All right. So we've confirmed that. We've confirmed that, hey, well, technically, I mean, you know, um, we've confirmed that, hey, even if I didn't pick Honda, it'd still be showing the Accord and Ridgeline and stuff like that. So yeah. You know, also, um, let's see. Let me delete that real quick. Another thing that I'm kind of curious about is, you know, let's say that we um, you know, if I do go like, hey, I want Subaru, and hey, that's an Accord, Subaru Accord, but that totally makes sense. Will it still go through with, having the um, having those values? You know, yep. So, obviously we're gonna need to make sure that we address that, because that is something that, shouldn't be on the live version. You're going to need to make sure that you put in an activity, or something to make sure that um, your uh, the model list reflects, the make. And clearly the make has a list of, um, you know, clearly, you have a list already built into the make. So you're just basically going to be needing to make sure that, your model list is reflecting, the records for that make. You know, now one would hope that you would have a model for every make that you put in there. One would hope. But let's face it, that might not always be the case. Maybe there, maybe you have a make on a list stating like, hey, we know that this make is out there, but maybe you don't have any of like official coverage for said model, you know, which again doesn't really make any sense. Why would, well, okay, um, it would cause some problems with the, um, it could potentially cause some problems with like a new individual that might be wanting to, um, work on their, they might want to have, um, um, they might want to, they might have uh, a make and model that, you might not have had prior, but, you know, mm, can't seem to get through that, huh? Okay. Da, 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 da. Um, okay. But yeah, so that's going to be it for today's challenge. We can mark this as complete. We've completed this challenge. So, um, so we'll continue moving on to the next topic tomorrow. So look forward to that. We're getting closer and closer to the end here, so, um, but there are some topics coming up that are pretty lengthy and all that, so that might take a little bit of time to kind of get through it all. We might need to do fairly long sessions to kind of get through, um, you know, everything that they presented to us. Um, so we'll see about that. Obviously, I'll let Blackheart know that these might go into our Unreal session, when those days come. But for the time being, that's where we're going to be kind of at. And then, you know, at the very end here, we have uh, our mission exercise, which again will take an extremely long time, which I'll try to go through. We can't break it up into um, multiple parts. Tried that before. It didn't really work out very well. So I'd rather try to do it all in one setting. and then we'll take the test. And after that, we'll discuss. Um, we'll go through a lot of testing materials. We'll go through a lot of module quizzes. We'll go through a lot of mock exams, and we'll talk about, your workspace. Okay, because um, when you are ready, to try to take your exam, whether it's for the system architect or for the business architect, okay, you're gonna need to be ready for the testing. So now, um, they do offer, um, you know, tests online. Okay, you can try to go for a test online. Okay, but that means that you will need to conform to everything that they want you to do in order to um, make sure that your space is clear of any kind of material that they would deem as inappropriate. You might have, if you like have a pad of paper, they might ask you to get rid of it. Okay, your work area needs to be completely clear of anything that they might deem as um, you know materials that could be considered cheating. So, like for example, if I looked above the camera right now, behind my monitor there, I could have like a little sheet of paper with lots of notes or something like that that I might have taken over time, and my eyes could try to like look slightly above the camera, but not at the monitor, right? You know, you can kind of notice the fact that my eyes shift, right, from where my camera is, where I'm looking directly at the camera. Here, let me go full camera mode here, webcam only, so you guys can kind of see where my eyes are going. So, I'm looking at the camera right now, right? So, now I'm going to go ahead and look down at the screen itself, where, the screen is. So here's me looking at the screen. And now I'm going to look slightly above the web camera. So can you see the difference between those three positions? So, um, they're, you know, not only are they going to be having like a separate monitor showing what you're doing on in the test itself, okay, they're going to be um, they're going to remote into your computer, first off, to make sure that you don't have anything else on the desktop, okay? It's just going to be that single window, okay? If you have any other windows up, they're going to say, you know, you're going to have to close these down because if you have them up, we're going to end this test. Okay. They will cancel the test and you will probably lose your money if you don't have that taken care of. Okay. Potentially, I don't know. Okay. When I took my one and only certification exam, I made sure that everything was set up the way they wanted it to. And they will ask you to take photos of your work area, of your testing area to make sure that, you don't have anything that could be, potentially, um, you know, uh, could potentially have some form of um, cheating material or something like that. Like for example, when my eyes are going above the camera or something like that, looking at the back wall, you know, they're not going to be like going, they're going to have a picture of that back wall, for example, so they're going to be looking at that going, okay, you're going to have to take that down, we see a sheet of paper, right behind your monitor. You're going to need to take that down, That's not allowed, Um, so yeah, they are very thorough when it comes to the test taking. Um, Now, obviously, you can go to one of their um, exam areas. They might have testing centers in various locations, probably in like major cities, maybe, but I mean, don't necessarily guarantee that. Um, I don't know where every single testing area that they have, and I kind of doubt that they're going to have a testing area in every single major city. Okay. Maybe some of the large ones, like maybe like Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, if you're here in the States, um, maybe Toronto in Canada, maybe London in New England, maybe Paris in France. I don't know. I don't know all their testing areas per se. Okay. Personally, I don't have that information on me right at this moment in time. You can look that up. They do provide you the information of where their testing areas are. And if you prefer being more like in a um, if your area isn't clean enough, if you if even if like right now I have my own little area here that's kind of isolated from the rest of the house, which is great because you can't have any interruptions when you're taking a test. Okay, if one person comes through that door, you know, and says, "Hey Jim, how you doing?" Kind of thing, that's it. They're gonna call off the test. Okay, they're gonna say you failed. Okay. And again, I don't know what happens to your money after that. Will they give you a refund and tell you, hey, you're gonna need to reschedule? Or are they gonna basically say your money is void and forfeit? We're gonna take your money and you're gonna have to repay for another time. Most likely that latter part. Most likely they're gonna say like, hey, you just voided out your test. This money is now ours. You're gonna need to pay for a new test. Okay. That's probably what will happen. So make sure that you are in an area that is completely isolated from any kind of interruptions. You know, you better make sure that your phone is off. Um, and um, make sure that you are, um, you know, in an area that you are like completely clear of any kind of like clutter or paper or anything. Okay, it needs to be like nothing. Okay. Um, so um, if they deem the area not if clear enough, then they will say, sorry, we can't let you go ahead with this test. We're gonna go ahead and cancel it. Okay. You have to pass the that um, what's the name of it again? The proctors, you know, judgment to kind of take the certification. Okay, if you don't, then well, uh, good luck. Hopefully you just didn't waste a whole lot of money on that. Well, I mean, it's not a whole lot of money. It's let's see, hold on. Let's see. Um, let's see. I don't really see where it is right at this moment in time. Hold on. Let me see about purchasing vouchers. Okay. Uh, uh, Voucher prices. All countries, all exams. The currency is US dollars. Okay, United States dollars. It's $175 just for one exam, for one voucher, you know. So, um, so if the proctor looks at your area and here, let me kind of show you, you know. So here's the Pega system vouchers and voucher facts, um, all exams, all countries, United States dollars, and $175. Okay. Um, so you're gonna need to, um, if you don't have, or if you fail your proctor, um, making sure that your area is cleared enough to take the exam, they're gonna say, sorry, we can't allow for you to move forward um, on this particular exam. Okay, and as you can see, vouchers are non-refundable and non-returnable. Okay, so you need to make sure that if you are confident enough to take the certification exam, then you need to and if you're needing to do that from your home, then you need to make sure that it meets everything. Okay. They're going to give you like a list of everything that you need to do for your exam test taking area. And if you fail even a small portion of that, you're done. They're probably going to cancel that exam and you're probably going to lose that $175. So make sure that you don't let that happen. Okay? You know, so I can't stress that enough. So now maybe $175 is nothing to you, then great. But I mean, um, but not everybody can handle that price easily. So, especially if you're trying to, live paycheck to paycheck right at this moment in time, maybe you saved up a couple months to get that 175, then you better make sure that you know, one, pick a time that is, you know, quiet. You won't have any interruptions. You can take the test without any kind of problems. Your area is clear. You know, believe me, they give you a list of everything that you need to have done, for your test taking area if you take it, at your home or wherever. Okay. Even if it's like going to like a friend's house or something like that to take it. Okay. You need to make sure that you follow all those steps that they give you to make sure that you pass that test perfectly. Or pass the proctor's examination of that area perfectly. Otherwise, you're done. You're that. The proctor will say, nope. We cannot proceed forward with the exam, and you are probably going to lose that voucher. You're probably going to lose that exam because they're basically paying the proctor to be there to make sure that you are not cheating. So, so that 175 is probably going to that proctor to make sure that everything is, above board. Now you can go, like I said, you can go to their testing areas. I never went because um when I did the certification, it was mid-COVID, so um so no one was going anywhere. No testing areas were up and running at all. You know, so there wasn't really a chance for me to go anywhere to take the exam from in like a business area. So nothing I could do there per se, right? So nowadays, obviously, things have well gotten better. COVID's still unfortunately flying all over the place here in the States. So yeah, we have the vaccine that helps out, but I mean, uh, let's face it, even with the vaccine, COVID can still do and could potentially still do a lot of damage to you if you're not careful. Um, so be careful with that, right? It's like you know, take for example the flu. You know, the flu is um, we have the flu vaccine as well that we use to try to help us out with the flu, right? Um, but still thousands of people die from the flu every year, right? Um, and it's just going to it's just going to keep on getting worse if people aren't vaccinating themselves to the COVID virus. They're going to get hit by it and they're going to, eventually succumb to it. I don't know how bad it is in the hospitals. Um, I don't know how filled they are in the ICUs with COVID patients. They're probably still getting some on a daily basis. I wouldn't be too surprised on it, for all the people that are anti-vaxxers. Um, but um, but whatever. We move on from that. Um, that's getting into a side tangent. Apologies on that. But um, the exam areas should be open again, probably, most likely. Um, so you might be able to find one nearby you, maybe. If you live in a rural area, though, most likely not. Okay, you're probably going to need to travel. Uh, you're probably going to need to travel to a major city if you have no other means to. Okay, how far away that is, I don't know. That's something that you're going to have to judge yourself. Now, um, where I'm located at right now, if there wasn't if there wasn't a testing area in my city that I was located in, which you know it's large enough, so there might be one, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where all the testing areas are um, in terms of the certifications, right? Find an exam center. Okay, let me see. Um, Obviously, I'm not going to show my address, so I'm just going to kind of keep it on uh, webcam here. Yeah, just making sure. And no, I'm not going to switch on over, so you're just going to have to uh, accept that. You'll have to understand that you know I'm looking at my address and looking to see if there's any kind of testing areas. And from what I can see, there is one testing. Well, actually, there's a couple. There's quite a few in my city. So, I can go there and try to take it at, you know, um, but according to this, there's only about 5 in my city. You know, after that, you know, the area, you know, obviously, changes around and, can kind of go out a little bit more. Now, here's the thing. Um, I am seeing a testing area in a, smaller-ish city, you um, up in Utah, for example. I don't know what the population of that city is, but, you know, I personally never heard of it myself, but I mean, you know, um, maybe it has a pretty large population center. I don't know. Um, Makes me kind of wonder if I use my old address from California days. Wonder if there was one in my old city or not. Oh, there is. Interesting. Okay. But from the looks of it, it is only and there was only one in my old city. So, um, and that's like 100,000 individuals, which is interesting because you would think that, a city that is like next door to it would have one as well, seeing that there's a university there, but whatever. Um, but just know that, who knows? Maybe there might be one closer than you think. Okay. So, you know, if you go here, go to training and find an exam center. When you click on that, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to kind of put in your address there, and um, it will kind of show if there's anything located near in your area, you know, for you to go to, and you can take the exam there, with basically a proctor over your shoulder to make sure that you aren't cheating with anything. So, so, just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on that. Okay. Again, so, okay, that's going to be it for our Pega study session. We're going to go ahead and switch on over to video uploads, and then we'll do Final Fantasy VII, the original, in, well, actually, probably uh, in like 20 minutes, actually. So not that long, but thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully you found it informative, and hopefully continue watching the rest of my series on the Pega certification. Um, Again, check out my playlist for other Pega videos if you're interested in that, if that's something that you are trying to work on yourself. Hopefully you'll help me out with the YouTube algorithm by liking, subscribing, and joining me on this journey. Check out the description for various links, and hopefully, that's something that might, some of those might be of interest to you. Um, Feel free to make any kind of comments concerning these videos, especially if you have any kind of questions concerning the um, Pega certification studying, or concerning the topic or challenge or whatnot. Um, like I might not have the answer directly, but if it is something that I can maybe find, I will find it. If it's something that I might not need to ask my previous coworkers, then I will do so with that as well. So that's going to be it for tonight's video for the Pega certification. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. But until then, take care, have a good night, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll catch you strangers next time.